Margie Woods is a lifelong sailor with a passion for helping others get out on the water. She is now a licensed U.S. Coast Guard captain, an American Sailing Association instructor, and vice commodore of the Pacific Single-handed Sailing Association. She currently serves as fleet captain for the Women's Sailing Association of Santa Monica, yay, and actively volunteers her time mentoring and supporting women in pursuing their sailing dreams. She is a member of Del Rey Yacht Club and the Single-handed Sailing Society. Margie cruises throughout Southern California and participates in many coastal single and double-handed races, as well as racing out of Marina del Rey with an all-women crew aboard her Hanse 371 Cassiopeia. She is a veteran of the 2016 Single-handed Transpac and plans on participating again in 2023.
I want to thank the National Women's Sailing Association for inviting me to speak today, and also, more importantly, for providing this platform for all of us to learn from each other. I think that's so incredibly important, and I am so honored to be a part of it. I hope that something I share with you all today will be beneficial to you, and that you will have hopefully at least one small takeaway to apply to your own life. Anyway, when Debbie asked me to share a sailing story, the obvious choice, and the one most people expect me to share, is about my experience in the Single-handed Transpac, which, for those of you who don't know, is a single-handed race from San Francisco to Honolulu, Hawaii. I did that race in 2016, and it was a life changer, a game changer, the most incredible thing I've ever done. And it informs most things in my life now, and certainly is going to inform my talk with you today. But the talk itself, or the story itself, if you will, is more a general story about myself and my healing journey, and how single-handed sailing actually healed me and continues to heal me. I'm a survivor of ongoing childhood trauma, and because of that trauma, I grew up not having a sense of, or even knowing about, my own inner compass. And it's been the emotional survival for me was not tuning into that compass, but instead tuning into everyone around me. And it's been a real journey for me, lifelong journey, to find and then slowly calibrate my inner compass to my own true north, not the physical and emotional needs of everyone around me. And of course, I wasn't aware that I was doing this as a child, but through my healing path, I realized that I had become very estranged from this inner guidance system. And single-handed sailing has been and continues to be a huge piece in rediscovering that inner compass and recalibrating it so that I am oriented towards my own true north. And I can't even tell you how much this has healed me. To this day, when I'm around people, groups of people, or even one-on-one, my immediate orientation is to go towards them. And that is a habit that developed as a survival mechanism as a kid. And I still do it sometimes. And sometimes it's absolutely impossible for me to hear my own inner truth above the noise, or I don't know if it's noise, that's what it feels like to me, but all the energy coming towards me from other people, because I am so trained to tune into that. So I am actually rediscovering and retraining myself to listen to myself. And when I step onto my boat alone, it hit me one day that is when the opposite thing happens. That is when, without even trying, I actually tune into my own inner compass. And making this discovery is where sailing alone actually started to heal me on a very deep level. When I'm at sea alone, I have no problem embracing the entire spectrum of who I am. I have no problem being exactly who and where I am at any given time. Out there, I can be as vulnerable as I need to be, or as powerful as I need to be. And being vulnerable, for some reason, has always come easy to me, but being powerful, or in my own personal power, has seemed very dangerous to me. And by dangerous, I mean psychologically or emotionally dangerous. So single-handed sailing is a place where not only does it feel really safe to be in my personal power, but it is necessary for my actual survival, my actual physical survival on the ocean. So it's kind of an interesting twist that happened there. And the most important part for me about embracing my power when I'm out on the ocean alone is the part where I don't downplay my skills, where I don't second guess myself, where if I make a mistake, I fix it instead of spiraling off into shame and embarrassment, where I don't stay quiet when I know the answer, where I take care of business without asking anyone what they think first, where I don't do any of that stuff, but instead fully trust myself. Trusting myself is why I can sail alone. And sailing alone itself is actually what showed me that I can trust myself that way. So it's been a wonderful full circle lesson for me. And all of this is the most palpable for me when I'm out there by myself, out there at sea. From heaving to in huge swells in the middle of the Pacific trying to fix a broken autopilot, to having to get up and reef in the middle of the night, in the middle of a huge squall, hanging on for dear life, to crying because I miss my family like a little kid at summer camp being homesick, or to spilling a huge pot of food in my lap as a wave hits my boat, laughing at myself. All of these things are welcome and valid. The full spectrum of my experience is okay when I'm out there by myself. Another part of recovering from trauma for me has been recalibrating my nervous system. Nature has always done that for me, but nothing does it more for me than careening along on the sea on my boat alone. It's an immediate sensation I have. I mean, even as soon as leaving the dock, where I just feel my nervous system relax. And then it even increases when I'm out there in the middle and I am able to witness and be held by nature's glory. Magical sunrises at sea, sunsets that linger over the horizon for what seems like an eternity, shooting stars across a velvety sky, the beautiful moon lighting my way along the water, the rainbows that show up at exactly the right time, the ever-changing textures and hues of the ocean, the cobalt blue of big blue rollers, and the amazing feeling of surfing down those rollers at up to 12 knots, which is really fast for my boat, on the front end of a squall, laughing my head off just because I'm purely in my joy. Or the sensation of barreling along in the black of night, where I cannot even see the front of my boat. Or the 360-degree horizon that surrounds me and changes with every mood of the ocean. It doesn't matter how rough or challenging the conditions are. The peace of being at one with nature and my own inner strength is such a balm for my soul. Those sunrises and sunsets wrap their soft light around me and remind me that I am okay, and that it is okay to let down and relax. The 360-degree horizon envelops me like a healing cocoon and reminds me of the possibility that lies ahead. The blanket of a starry night weighs down in the most calming way to remind me that I am whole. The glittering phosphorescence in my wake at night casts all that I survived and once was into a magical trail that is now my past. The shooting stars ripping across the night sky and into the sea remind me of how small I am and how connected I am to the universe and therefore myself and my own inner compass. It is in that connection that we find our power. That connection is our true north, the direction to which we turn when life delivers gnarly squalls. When you're sailing, there is no one to attune to but yourself. Listen to that, practice that, feel that, know that in your heart. This way, when life wants to steer you off course, you'll have a connection to your inner compass to always have everything you need to steer to your own true north. My healing journey has been and continues to be so illuminating for me, and sailing is such a big part of that. And my hope is that in sharing a bit of it with you here today, that you can find something that augments your path towards healing at the helm of your very own journey. Thank you so much for listening and for sharing in this with me. If you want to find me online, my blog is sailinghownani.com, HAUNANI, and my short film I did about the Single-handed Transpac is journeybackfilm.com. Thank you all so much. Winds to you.